Mic check, mic check. CTM, what's going on, everyone? Happy Tuesday. Happy Taco Tuesday. If Head Snack shows up, I'll make sure to queue up. It's a taco day. There's no question about that. I don't have it queued up right now. I was busy doing lots of preparation for today's session. Yesterday, and Jose, thanks for smashing that like button already, knowing that you're going to like the session ahead. Look, yesterday, this is just how it is. For whatever reason, I just didn't feel that like I had that oomph. It was like a hard day, a hard session to get through. And, I try to view that in a very balanced way. And you imagine what we just did the week before or the week before, but like life is like that. There are for sure ups and downs, including in our own personal growth here as CTM as a community. There are times that we are just going gangbuster, like in these huge creative phases. And there's other times that you plateau. A lot like, as we will look at the high watermark a little later on. Let's get into it. Let's just make sure that we have a good session and a lot of fun because we're putting the work in either way. Might as well have a good time together. Why we do it. Just some couple of notes over here. This is our technology adoption life cycle over here. It's an S curve. And couple of notes. We've added this over here, this fib retracement level of 0.86. The previous two cycles prior to the halving. Next halving is around April 2024, right over here. Both of them in the past two cycles did go ahead and tag this level. Now, they didn't actually go above it or below it. They both actually tagged it. That does not mean that history is going to repeat itself, but it sure is prudent to have that type of awareness, because if that does happen, if you were to see something like, price testing that level around $50,000, and specifically if it's doing it sometime before the halving, you're going to see a lot of people who are going to be looking for and hoping for new all-time highs ahead of that 2024 halving. And that could also potentially happen too. I don't think so, but it could happen. But it's like a FOMO protector. No, actually, that's expectation, not expectation. I wouldn't be surprised if that were to happen. And if it happens, that's going to actually be a level that I'm going to be paying close attention for and watching if there's a reversal out of it as we move towards that long accumulation phase. We'll find out what happens. As far as downside, I'm not yet looking for any type of sell impulse on the downside. I don't really have a line lined up right now. There's nothing there. The only reference point I have is this log scale trend line, the bear market trend line. I think I like it a little bit. This was just like drawn in, but whatever serves the purpose. And we're currently testing it right now. We're currently above it and breaking down below it. That would say, well, this has failed. This repair has since failed. And it doesn't mean this move is negated. Actually, this channel here is pretty nice, right? And watching the upward sloping of this channel is right now the line for sure that I'm watching to see if we have any breakdown and resumption. That's a long way from here to here, but we'll still be quite neutral. This whole area of support, right, should therefore be support again. That would be a confluence. Anyway, just getting going over here. Right. Let's talk about it before we get started. So BlockFi is proposing to turn BTC claims into US dollar claims right near the low. That has worked out, assuming that price stays above that level, really well for them. But here's the thing. If price trades below it, right, and they're using US dollars, well, that's not really going to work out, and it could go either way. It is the day that they filed for bankruptcy. I'd be interested to see if someone who's been following like the Celsius bankruptcy, Chapter 11 proceeding very closely, like Simon Dixon, at any point in time, give some insight into that. I mean, it doesn't seem unfair to me that they are using US dollar claims at that particular point. It doesn't work favorably for anyone if the price of Bitcoin is trading higher. But again, that could work both ways. I suppose until I know more about it, I'm kind of ambivalent about it, and I'm not really taking an opinion, but it seems reasonable, and that's all I'll say. All right, let's get into it. Let's start off this session, and we want to start off this session looking here at the 8-hour, doing a little bit of CTM positioning, and we'll start here with the beautiful Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is doing a phenomenal job staying out of the market. Do you see that during this pullback? And we view this pullback from like looking at it from like this sense on the daily, like breakout. Like the move could keep going and extend, but it didn't. It rolled over. By the way, CTM 2.0 doesn't wait for the breakout to attack. CTM 2.0 was attacking much lower, right? Where did it start that run? All the way down here at 16,700, right? So it's 16,700 right over here. I mean, it's really important. So I think that a lot of aspiring traders spend a significant amount of time trying to come up with an edge in the market. People say that you should trade a plan, and a lot of people, aspiring traders, spend the majority of the time they spend in the markets trading without a plan. And a plan is not, I'm going to place only 3 trades a day today, or I'm going to stop if I have 5 losing trades, or I'm only trading the NASDAQ between 9:30 and 11 a.m. Those are not plans. Those are rough outlines and sketches to try to develop a plan, but a plan details every single aspect. Every single aspect. So I'm not following that at all. Are those the ones I believe that were seeking yield? And I assume that the same thing will happen with BlockFi. I assume wallets held with no type of yield collection on them as per the SEC's arrangement with BlockFi, that those funds were actually segregated. I think with Celsius, I'm not sure, but I do believe that it was the people that were receiving yield, those are lost. And again, I don't, the same way, like whether they pick the US dollar price and stuff, I don't know that that's not fair. Anyway, tough conversations. But I don't think that's accounts that were not receiving yield or held in segregated accounts. Bringing it back to what we were talking about, and that was Bitcoin. Imagine that. I mean, the majority of the float was extraordinarily bearish down here. There's no question about that. Most people, most traders down over here were looking for significantly lower prices. CTM 2.0 really doesn't care. It just does what it does. I was talking about traders and plans. And the thing is that you most of our time here, or those that are recently joining us over the next several months, will make this adjustment where the majority of their time spent is actually on the psychological aspects of being a successful trader. I'm starting to see a lot of CTM Core share insights that are way on a higher level than, from my opinion, from someone like Mark Douglas, who has spent his career giving psychological insights. Now, I don't know, my own experience, my own personal opinion, and that means nothing. I think that Mark Douglas is a phenomenal coach. I don't know that he trades successfully. And the only reason I say that from things that he says, I don't know if that's true or not, but I do know that a lot of people in CTM Core that are sharing their insights with others that are just joining with us is absolute gold. And it takes time to come to understand that and see that. But understanding that you have people by your side who, first of all, are really looking to live by that principle of iron sharpens iron, And what that means here at CTM is that the more I could up the level, the game of the person next to me, the more that I know that they're going to contribute to the overall community. And it just makes CTM stronger. It's why you see that happen often and a lot. Thank you, my brother. So what I found beautiful though is on the pullback, right? Breakout, this thing like breakout, who knows where it goes into. It could have easily went more towards this $25,000 level, which this is the Luna collapse, and then this is the Celsius. Speaking of Celsius, the bounce from the collapse, and that's a pretty big level. We haven't made it yet. We came in shy. I thought we would come into that resistance and give it a little bit of a look. That's not what happened though, and we came in for a retest. The retest doesn't always have to come in all the way to the level, and often it doesn't, and sometimes it does, and sometimes it breaks down. We don't know if it's going to break lower than it currently is right now and break down further, but we know if it does and it closes below this line, that is a breakdown. You could see some other people. I've seen some other people posting charts, and they're showing like a support zone, or kind of like, an area like, I don't even know. I couldn't even do it if I wanted to, but it looks, whoa, not like a circle. No, George, it doesn't look like a circle. It looks more like a rectangle, and maybe something like that or something. And that's okay. That's good, but that's inferior, right? The trend line over here at this particular point, you all know that sometimes we look at horizontal resistance support on the 10-year, beautiful example of that. But you could see right now that the market is indeed with the two touches, and you see the lower low is coming right into that trend line. And that gives us a good reference point. It's not about being right or wrong. It's knowing where you are right and where you are wrong. And it's beautiful seeing as, again, CTM 2.0 started taking these series of trades all the way down over here, and then it stopped over here. Look where it stops as the momentum wanes. You see how and that's beautiful, and it's important to realize. It's important to just get more familiar, because again, instead of having to go through that enormous journey of trying to develop a profitable trading system, which few and far could really, you could develop even especially on Bitcoin, you go back 5-7 years, I'm sure it's not too difficult to develop a profitable trading system. A trading system that resembles ours is a different, obviously, situation. So you get to spend more of your time in becoming CTM strong, right? And becoming mentally tough, in growing in fortitude, execution. We have a lot to talk about in this session, so strap in. We're going to get into it. And I like this a lot, though, seeing CTM on the sidelines. And also, if we resume out over here, and it doesn't mean we need to make higher highs, you could see that Bitcoin here is getting very close to reattacking on the upside, if it needs be. And by the way, if we break down and we lose this level, if we lose here, CTM 2.0, why I'll say, well, that negates the repair, and I wouldn't be overly bearish until we're breaking down this line over here. CTM 2.0 doesn't carry. It'll be attacking to the short side somewhere up here, más o menos, right? But it'll be, like almost right there, about $300 lower. And you could see right here, it says the short, you're about $3,025 away. So that was pretty good. I just eyeball things, and I was like there, but I was off by like $300. And that's that. And it's little nuggets each and every day that lead to this further education here at CTM. And then we're looking at Ethereum, and it's much of the same analysis. Ethereum over here also attacking very low off the bottom, very low, and it was able to put in some really nice gains and trades. On big loss over here, but in this period, she looks good. We're going to talk about that actually in depth in 1 second. And it could also be attacking to the downside and or upside, depending on what happens next. And this is probably a surprise to most people, But Cardano right now on the 8-hour is currently still holding its trade, by the way. And this trade is minus 2%, minus 2.3% into unrealized profit. And it was just yesterday 10% unrealized profit. This was some insight shared by Mad Dog ahead of its time because it was shared it says yesterday at 6:14 a.m. And if anyone waking up this morning is feeling down about the Cardano trade or considering exiting early, you won't be alone. Especially for new guys, a 10% hit right now is a daunting proposition. However, I urge you to stick with it no matter what. Look back at a few of the trades from as recently as September 2022. You could see that on the 19th of September, a short trade was in and out of the red for 9 days and nearly minus 8% for a while. But if you had the fortitude to hold it, then it ended up returning a tasty 16% profit by the 25th of October. There are lots of examples across times and other pairs too. Could you imagine the serendipity of that post? Because why this trade, I don't know if it ends up exiting at a loss, in profit, or what will happen, because I can't predict the future. You could see that from when this was 10% down 2 days ago and now down 2.5%. It is a big difference. There's obviously no guarantee of anything, and a loss from this position looks more likely than a full turnaround. But discretionary moves will only leave you with a fog of doubt in the future trades. In order to execute consistently, it's important that moments like this, we simply follow the indicator. A lot of people saw that this morning, probably trading without a plan, getting whipside all around today. I imagine that people got wrecked out there today after the CPI release. And then you have another bit of insight over here. When taking a loss or experience, but first let me just go back and just point out to you, this is, I think, pretty important, and just look at what Cardano has done over the last year, right? Over the last 13 months. And I mean, this is the first buy trades that Cardano has taken in that period of 13 months. But nevertheless, it uses a wide stop loss. Now you could see that over that period, and this is a small period, it's just 13 months, but the average loss, the average losing trade is just 1.83%. Again, it's a very small time frame. You want to go back further? Let's go back further. Let's go back into 2017, because then we're looking at a much greater sample. The average loss is 2.6%. Look, that doesn't mean that you're not going to have big losses, because the largest losing trade here is 12.8%. But the average trade, and by the way, my expectation, your expectation, Cardano has a high profitability, very high profitability at 48%. But 50% of the trades you're gonna get stopped out. But if you're exiting the trade discretionary because the trade down over here is 10% against you, you've had in the past, and past performance is not indicative of future results, but I could say going back over the last 6 years, even though I have 20% stop losses, my average trade is about 3% loss or whatever it is. I forgot now, but and I want to know because I'm like that. I always have to know exactly what it is. But 2.6%, and I've taken losses of 2.8%, but I don't get the opportunity or chance to be able to, even though it's not indicative of future performance. And again, while we forward test it, it's continuing to perform. No, but anyway, point made, point taken. Insight is fantastic. When taking a loss or experience a big drawdown as a result of using a mechanical system, this is like what I like to call conquering the markets. I like to call this type of awareness, this type of mental sharpness. This is us sharpening our blades as we compete in the arena of the capital markets. It is not on, and by the way, Summit team, dev team, even Hive Mind, we continue working hard. And I see it within CTM as well. Now, obviously, the tools they have to work with are not the same for good reason. We're just getting to know you. But I mean, we continue to work extraordinarily hard. Tomorrow morning, we have a meeting before our live stream. It's going to actually be the dev team and the summit team. And we're continuing to talk about, I mean, we continue to do everything we can. But the majority of our time, or a large portion of our time, should be spent on that psychological edge that needs to be really in place in order, once you have an extraordinary edge, to make sure that you're able to go ahead and do it. I'm going to fast forward to something I had planned for the end, but this response this morning from Hey You, Jordan, I don't see a request suggesting channel. By the way, we have it for CTM Core. I should just make that for all of CTM. So I'll post the request here. I know there's a lot of info on the channels already, but it seems there's still a lot of questions about this. And maybe you could do a summary session one day on pluses and minuses of the various way CTM folks manage their trading portfolio. Since 2.0 is all about trading 100% of your asset distribution at each signal, it means either keeping all assets on exchange. And by the way, Hey You and everyone, like, there are people within CTM. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, my brother. That's terrible. I can't. Oh, very cool. And Bender, who have talked about, using leverage on exchanges in order to keep less money on exchange, but use the same type of money management. That should be included in this summary. And all the different types of options, giving people then the ability to decide what they think is best. That is CTM all day long. Trading on DEXs direct from wallets. I know that Sale Guy has an incredible knowledge base about this. I know inside the decentralized exchange channel, there's a lot of information shared on there. I hope one day, and I believe one day in the future, I don't know how far away it'll be. I don't know if it's 6 months from now or 3 years from now, but I believe that trading directly from hardware wallets will become a lot easier and better. Right now, I think, and I'm not positive, but I think on like Bitcoin, the fee is like 0.7%. But there's a lot of information on that. Transferring back and forth between wallets and exchanges between trade signals, right? Especially, hey, and everyone, if someone's trading on the daily time frame. If someone has not consolidated this info, I'd be glad to, please, that would be an enormous help to myself, to the community. And then, if you're doing that, and maybe the place to do that, by the way, might be somewhere like, maybe we need a channel for it. But I really appreciate that. And the point of all that was that is leading us to, these type of things are super important. Execution is everything. This is how CTM 2.0 was introduced on, again, it's almost the anniversary, March 14th, 2022. And it was knowing when to be in the market, when not to be in the market, and on what side is absolutely priceless. These gains that came off of the beginning of early 2023 were tremendous and timely. We had been going sideways for so long. For like 6 months, we had been going sideways with a few exceptions. They were really welcomed. Very few people participated on that. I know we did, but very few people out there saw that come. You saw a lot of bulls happy that now they price was like, you seen the meme of that giant red candle, and then there's like the little green move, and they're like celebrating. But it's better to be able to go ahead and take advantage of that. Look, this is conquering the markets. When taking a loss or experiencing a big drawdown as a result of using a mechanical system designed to increase your probability of success, you will be able to lose without thinking you're a loser, and you will be able to be wrong without thinking there's anything wrong with you. In order to extract, and this is Mark Douglas' amazing strength here coming through as well, right? He is a fantastic mentor. In order to extract the profit potential in your edge, you have to execute every single trade without error. Flavorous Frav would not, if he was not doing it and had the experience doing it, be able to relate and then be able to articulate this. Understanding there is one thing, believing it is a completely different. You need to change your mindset so that of a winning trader. We never know what a trade will be, a winner, as nobody knows. Thinking you know what the outcome of the next trade is going to be will only increase your probability of making errors. This was all. Maybe I'll just save this for tomorrow. I feel like we got an hour long in. We have a couple of more things that we want to get into, but I'll share these insights tomorrow. Good session, strong session, and that's what we do. Each and every day, putting the work in. It's an honor to be working alongside all of you. Tomorrow in the morning, we got Summit Team Dev Team meeting, and then a half hour later, our live session. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a beautiful day, everyone. God bless you. See you all soon. All right, CTM. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you all again tomorrow.